So today we will be discussing about the management of dengue fever. In the previous class, we already learned about what is dengue fever and how it is caused and what are the pathophysiological changes, etc. And today we'll detailedly study about how we can manage the disease effectively. So dengue fever is usually a self-limited illness, hence there is no need of any antiviral drugs or any other medications, etc. And the treatment is usually depending upon the clinical manifestations of the child. And imagine if the child is not having any further complicated symptoms like reduced blood pressure, or she can adequately pass the urine, or they can have fluid food, etc. Such children, they no need of any hospitalization, and these children can be effectively treated in the house itself. But imagine for those children, those who are having the altered manifestations like low BP and hematocrit values are very less, and they are not drinking or eating adequately and cannot pass the urine adequately, etc. Such children need constant monitoring, and these children has to be managed in the hospital itself. Okay. So let's see about the medical management. So in the medical management, there is no specific antiviral drugs can be given to treat the dengue. So here, the symptomatic management can be done, and the symptomatic management, in order to increase the body temperature, paracetamol can be given. So the paracetamol will also help to reduce the pain in the joint and all. Okay. And next drug of choice is NSAID, but here usually NSAIDs are not given for the children because already because of the low platelet count, the child will be having the manifestations of bleeding. And NSAIDs are the drugs, they can induce bleeding. Hence, NSAIDs like ibuprofen or aspirin are not recommended here. Okay. And next is regarding blood transfusion. So as I already said you, they will be low HB and there will be altered coagulation and hematocrit values are already altered. In such cases, blood transfusion is needed. And usually the red blood cells or the whole blood is transfused. And here WBC or fresh frozen plasma, we usually don't do the transfusion. And next is fluid resuscitation, because these children, they are very prone to develop hypovolemia and hypovolemic shock. Hence, adequate fluid resuscitation is mandatory. So it is believed that 20 ml per kg has to be maintained, the fluid status. And the rate of fluid administration is titrated if the urinary output is between zero point 0.5 to 1 ml per kg and the child is having stable vital signs and normal hematocrit values. So here the intravascular fluid volume deficit can be managed with the isotonic fluid like ringer latate solution, and the bolus dose of 10 to 20 ml per kg can be given over a period of 20 minutes. And if this failed to elevate the hematocrit values and to improve the fluid status in the body, the fluid volume expanders can be given to the child, which includes starch, then 40% of dextran, albumin, etc. And during the recovery phase, the intravenous fluid therapy has to be discontinued because of the increased fluid administration, there are chance of development of fluid overload. Okay, so if fluid overload develops and the vital signs are stable, we can no need of giving further fluid. And in certain situation, if there is an increased risk of developing cerebral edema, the loop diuretics can be administered to the child. And next is regarding the diet. So here there is no as such specific diet is required for the child with a dengue fever. And those children, those who can tolerate the oral fluids, they can consume the oral fluid. And apart from that, oral rehydration solution can be given, fruit juices or water can be given to prevent from the signs and symptoms of dehydration. Then regarding the invasive procedures. So it is better said that maximum invasive procedures like iron injection, the nasogastric intubation has to be avoided because these can cause bleeding. Already the child is in a state of altered coagulation. So almost all the invasive procedures has to be avoided in order to reduce the risk of bleeding. And let's see what are the possible nursing diagnoses here. So fluid volume deficit related to vascular leakage. Then the child may be having abdominal pain. So pain related to pain over the abdomen or over the head. Then risk for ineffective tissue perfusion related to failure of the circulatory system. The risk for shock related to dysfunction of the circulatory system, and risk for bleeding related to altered liver function. Okay. And let's see what are the nursing interventions. Carefully monitor the BP, hematocrit value, HB, etc. Maintain an adequate fluid status in the child. Oral dehydration therapy can be initiated. And we need to assess the child for any internal bleeding, assess for melena as well as hematuria, which may indicate the child is having a internal bleeding. And regular physical assessment is very important, and assess the temperature, pulse, respiration, and oxygenation of the child. So these are some of the nursing interventions you can provide to the child. So these all are regarding the management of dengue fever. Okay.